Good morning from a very sunny allotment. It's Sunday morning. I've just been to my mum's. Over here in the UK it's Mothering Sunday, so I would like to wish all my daughters and my wife a happy Mother's Day, and also a happy Mother's Day to all you ladies out there. So I've managed to get to the plot. I've just got a couple of little jobs to do, and the first one is to sow my peas. Now normally I put these in guttering, but I tend to find that we get a lot of mildew on them, because they're so close together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow these into trenches, probably a couple of inches deep, and the variety I've got from DT Browns is Rondo. So I'm going to crack on and get that done. So I've prepped this area here. Basically I just take a piece of timber and I just make a groove. It's like that. And then about 6 inches away, roughly that, do the same again. And the same again. So I've just widened these a little bit so that I can drop my peas in. And the way that I'm going to do it is just offset them like so. I'm giving them a bit of space because normally in the gutters, as I say, what I'd normally do is I would just throw them in any old how. But I think because they were just on top of each other, as they grew, they ended up getting mildew and stuff. So I'm doing it this way. It's the first time I've done it. See how it goes. So there we go. There's 3 rows in there, as you can see. And what I've decided to do is, on the other side, I'm going to put another 3 rows in there. But I'm going to try them in the gutters, and then we can compare and see which do better. So this is the first time I've done them this way. We'll do them the original way that I used to do them, in the gutters, and just throw them in without much regard for spacing. And let's just see, and if it proves that these ones are better, then it's a lesson learned, and I can do that all the time. Now, the only reason I used to put them in gutters before was it used to be that you put these peas in and you knew in the gutters in the greenhouse that they were going to be fine. But there's mice and there's various things that can get at them. So let's just see how they go. So all I'll do now is I'll just cover those over, put a label on each row so I know where they start and they finish, and away we go. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow a second row of carrots. The ones that I've got in here are called top weight. They went in about 3 weeks ago underneath the board. I'm now going to put a row of autumn king in, and I'm going to get a piece of perspex, I think. I'll probably put it over the top of this to try and just speed on the germination, because they don't seem to have germinated in here. I have no signs whatsoever of anything. Maybe it has been a bit cool, so they might kick-start in the next few days. So I'll get these in first. Just scatter them nice and thinly. I never put any carrot fly protection on these. They always seem to do well with the carrots in this bed. Just a few more. Brilliant, that's that. So that's those covered over and labelled. So in another 3 weeks or so I'll put a final third row in. So that's the peas in, and the carrots. I mentioned in my last video that all my brassicas will come out into the coal frame, and that's where they're going to live now until I pop them on, and then until they go out. As I mentioned before, I find the greenhouse gets really hot and it pushes them on. Out here I tend to leave this open. If there's not going to be a frost, I leave it open and just have a little gap, air gap on an evening, and I leave that open all night, and they grow on really nicely in here, as you can see there. One other update that I've got is I've managed to get hold of another shed. So if you remember before, I had a small shed here. I've passed that on to a relative who's got an allotment, and I've now got a shed that's a 10x6 shed. So that's going to sit on here. I laid this base yesterday. It's almost finished. And what I'm going to do with that shed is it's going to be a potting shed. So all my pots, everything can all go in there on nice shelves. I can have a really nice, correct height potting bench with a stool, and I can pot on in comfort. Because as I'm getting to my age now, I'm finding that my back gives me some right grief. So I need to get as comfy as I can. And here's the shed. Absolutely fantastic condition. And basically, I was told if you can come and collect it, then you can have it. And I'm very fortunate to have a van, a long wheelbase van. I was able to pick it up. So hopefully next week we'll try and get this up. So it's more work. So that's a short and sweet one from me today. It's a lovely day out there, so I'm wanting to do the last few jobs that I need to do now and get myself home, get sat in the garden whilst it's nice and bright, have a couple of beers. Thanks again to all my subscribers. I think I'm now perched and teetering on 499. So who's going to be the 500th? Let's see. I'll send you a special message of thanks when that happens. So I'm going to just pop some, sow some kale now before I go, and then I'm going to get myself off. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, enjoy the sun if you've got some, and happy growing. See you soon.